Hi, my name is Tom Buglio. I'm the manager of the piano department here at Taylor's Music Store. Right now we're in Taylor's Music Store's beautiful grand piano room, and I'd like to spend some time today showing you why we feel Kawai piano makes the most advanced piano on the market. Kawai is a third generation Japanese piano company, and we're also a family business like they are, so we kind of feel akin to them. But they take a lot of pride in the way they build their pianos, and we feel they've really spent a lot of time and money in research and development trying to continually make the piano better and better. Let me show you some reasons why. Piano, of course, by nature is a wooden instrument, which is basically why we call it an acoustic instrument. The sound is produced through beautiful woods. The soundboard is made of high quality spruce wood, and all the wood interacting together produces a beautiful tone. The problem with wood, of course, is that it expands and contracts with temperature and humidity and seasonal change. This is what causes the piano to go out of tune, what causes sticky key problems, and ultimately what causes a piano to age. So Kawai spent a lot of time trying to figure out ways to make their piano last longer and give you better service over the course of many years. Let me show you some of the things that they've done. This is the music rack, and oftentimes this part of the piano tends to bow over the course of many years. Kawai put a piece of metal right here to prevent that from happening. Here's a nice feature for moms. No more pinching fingers anymore with this slow key cover. If we take a look underneath the piano, we actually have a big piece of metal that's 4 inches by 4 feet, and it's very thick. So it also supports the key bed itself and prevents it from warping over the course of many years. Let's take the piano apart and show you the inside of the piano where you see it, Kawai at its most innovative. This piece of wood is called the key slip. Also, often warps over the course of years and bows, and when that happens, because it's right in front of the keys, it will cause a rubbing, causing sticky keys. Well, Kawai puts an L-shaped piece of metal right here to prevent that from happening. Now let's pull the engine out, so to speak. This is the action assembly of the piano itself. It's where all the action is. Now we'll notice first of all, of course, this is where the keys are, and the keys are really long pieces of wood, but they've always been covered in the old days by ivory, today often by white plastic, which is kind of slippery to the touch. Kawai's created a new type of material called Neotex out of fiber, and they've created a kind of a nice feel here that has grit to it. So you don't slide on the keys like you do on a lot of other companies' pianos. In addition, moms and piano teachers will appreciate the fact that Neotex actually has an antibacterial ingredient in it. Now, if we take a look where the majority of the moving parts are, it's important to remember stability here is extremely important for tone and touch, because the way a piano works, when you press the key down, the hammer comes up to strike the strings. And the hammer has a sweet spot in it, just like a golf club or a tennis racket. And it needs to strike the strings in the same spot every time. Most of hammers strike 3 strings, and it's got to hit that same spot to give you the best optimal tone. If the hammer moves slightly to the left or the right or angles a little bit differently because of warpage over the years, then it just stands to reason the piano is not going to sound as good. So everything Kawai does is to try to create that same consistent striking all the time. So let's take a closer look at the moving parts. We'll notice that the hammers themselves are actually attached to a long aluminum rail here, which we call the hammer rail. And there's a second aluminum rail at the very bottom here as well. So these aluminum rails create great stability. Of course, they're not going to warp, made of aluminum. Now, if we take a look at this aluminum, the hammer rail itself, it's actually shaped like an upside down little F. That extra notch here creates greater stability when it attaches itself to the bracket. Most other piano companies just have an L-shaped hammer rail. And then, in fact, the brackets themselves, there are 5 total brackets. Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On other piano companies, 4 is what you'll find. Taking a closer look at this rail, where the hammer is actually attached to the rail is a serrated edge. It's kind of hard to see, but you can kind of hear that it's a grooved serrated surface to create real strong friction so the hammer grommet itself can really lock in place and hold the hammer firmly in place. The screws they use are important too. Most companies use this screw, which is a self-tapping screw. And you'll notice this, which is a machine screw, which has a lock washer, has twice as many threads, so it's much stronger to hold the hammer in place. Now, of course, when we take a look at the color difference here, we have the regular wood hammer and hammer shank are white wood, and we have this black piece right here. This is a hammer grommet. That's what holds it down in place. But the reason this is black is because Kawai has been working for 40 years with advanced composite materials, and like ABS styrene, and this particular color is produced because of the fact that they now, since the 2005, have infused all their composite material with carbon fiber, which is used in a lot of high-tech industries today. It's a very advanced component material, composite material that will last forever. And if you notice on the side, there's a number of parts that have been replaced with the black composite material. Now, this material is lighter, it is stronger, and will give you better touch consistency with fewer service problems. At the same time, it will help the piano sound better over the course of many years. Now let's go compare this to another piano. Oops, no slow key cover here. It's a little hard to get out. This has already started to warp. All wood here. Now let's take a close look at the action. Well, this has the white slippery keys. If we take a look, it does have an aluminum hammer rail. The hammer rail is L-shaped. It doesn't have the extra notch like the Kawai does. And you'll notice, of course, that it has all wood parts. There's no ABS styrene or carbon fiber fillers. It has the self-tapping screws, and to hold the hammer in place, it uses sandpaper. So this action is fine, it works, but we really feel that with the parts that Kawai has spent money on, that theirs will work better. In addition, let's count the brackets. 1, 2, 3, 4, unlike the 5 that we found over at Kawai. So while there's nothing wrong with this action, in summary, we really feel the Kawai has the superior design. So, when you compare pianos, please consider the advances Kawai has made, because when you spend your hard-earned money on a piano that's supposed to last a lifetime, why not put your money into a piano that's going to last and sound as good 40 years from now as it does today? Let's listen. Come on down to Taylor's and compare for yourself.